Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Welcome back to the Scott Townsend Show. And it's Monday, and that means that today is better living through better meetings. Each Monday, I look at a different aspect of meetings, how to have meetings, who should be in meetings, should we even have meetings, how long should they be? But there are so many people that think meetings suck and that they are ineffective and mismanaged. So this is your safe harbor where meetings are concerned. We will spend Mondays on the Scott Townsend Show looking at how to hold effective, efficient meetings. One colleague that I worked with not too long ago had some of the best meetings I've ever been to. They were the only meetings that I looked forward to, and I know others in the meeting felt the same way. So I invited the meeting organizer, Shanita Woodard, back to the show to discuss what she did that made the meetings, her meetings, some of the best meetings that we got to attend. And so here she is. Please welcome Shanita Woodard. Shanita, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Scott. Good morning. It's always great to be with you, my friend.
So I know when you and I worked together, we had I have to admit, and I've said this so many times, you had a meeting where you were in charge of, I don't know how many people were in the meeting, maybe 6, 8
at
people.
Least. Yeah, 6 to 8. Yeah, at least.
And those meetings, those weekly status meetings, I don't know what you would call those, were everybody looked forward to that meeting. I've never seen anybody look forward to a meeting like that meeting. I know I didn't look forward to any other meetings like that meeting. And everyone had a good time. We got things done. That was so rare. So I appreciate you taking the time. Just really quickly, how did you do that? For all the listeners out there, how do you create a meeting where people can't wait to get to the meeting? I mean, that is such an anomaly.
Great question. Great topic. I love it. And look, I'm in the same boat as you, right? I'm one of those people who doesn't really look forward to meetings for the very reasons that you said. You get into these meetings, it doesn't feel like it's a good use of time. You aren't really enjoying yourself. You're kind of looking at the clock, waiting for it to be over, right?
Right.
And so you and I were working on a major event for our sales organization. It's a cornerstone event. We did it every year. It was the first time I was leading it. And so I wanted to do a really good job. But part of this, me wanting to do a good job, was me recognizing that everybody that was a part of the team were experienced professionals. So it really wasn't about me. It was about allowing everyone who was in the meeting to contribute and really for them to have the opportunity to shine about the work that they're doing. So I looked at every meeting as, number one, come in with an agenda. And, you and I haven't really talked a lot about, formal meeting management, but when I was with a prior company, GE, we did do 1 or 2 courses about effective meeting management, of which, and everybody talks about having an agenda, but it is very important to go into an agenda with not really specifically what you want to talk about, but what you want to accomplish. And that's something that I learned in that course, to design an agenda around the end in mind. So formally, that is something that I approach every single meeting with. And if there is something that comes up that isn't getting us closer to what we're trying to accomplish, my job is to move us back to center. That's how I look at just structuring the agenda for the meeting in general. But when it comes to the participants, I don't want anybody to feel the way that I feel, which is that I don't want this to be a bad use of my time, wasting time. You invited me to this meeting, show me what you want me to do, allow me to participate. If you wanted to just talk at me for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, we could have done that someplace else. So you brought me, all right, so you brought me into this meeting to contribute. Give me the opportunity to do that. And so that's how I looked at our meetings. First of all, we all knew each other.
Right.
There was no reason for anyone to show up feeling nervous, uncomfortable. There was also no reason for me to try to do everybody's part, right? So when you're working with people who are 5, 10, 15, 20 years experience, I put together an agenda of, these are the 5 things we're trying to do. These are the 5 owners. Start the meeting with that. Let's go.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend, and this is November 2021. And for the last several Novembers, I've been participating in the Movember movement. So this year, decided to start a team, and that team is the Scott Townsend Show team. So all you listeners, watchers out there, if you'd like to join me, I've been not shaving for, since November 1st, but started investigating more about this and found out that you can create a team. So here we go. I'm going to create a team. And my goal is $200. So here's the official communication here. Did you know that on average, men die 6 years earlier than women? And for reasons that are largely preventable. It's a global problem that demands out-of-the-box thinking, which is why I'm taking on a challenge of epic proportions to raise funds for Movember and stop men dying too young. It's called the Mow Your Own Way, and for me, it looks like this. You'll see down below. The money I raise will help fund groundbreaking projects across mental health and suicide prevention, prostate cancer, and testicular cancer. Movember has funded 1,250 game-changing health projects so far. But there are millions more fathers, partners, brothers, and sons and friends to reach. That's where I come in, and that's where you come in. I've set myself a bold task and an ambitious fundraising target. Your donation, big or small, will help me get there. So donating is easy. Just follow the link to my Mo space below. You'll also be able to track your progress. So can I count on your support? Together we can change the face of men's health. So there you go. Check that out. Donate. I ask you guys to donate $10. I donated 25. You'll see it when you go to my page. I'd like to hit the 200 number. So let's see what we can do. And now back to the program. Pop's Daylight Donuts. Man, they've got the best tasting donuts, sausage wraps, pastries in Northeast Oklahoma. And also, if you'll tell the staff there, hey, Scott Townsend said to give me a large spicy pig, they'll give you a free large spicy sausage wrap. But you have to tell them Scott Townsend sent you. So tell them, hey, Scott Townsend told me to tell you to give me a large spicy pig. So there's the offer. There's the call to action. So go to Pop's Daylight Donuts. Say hi to Mark for me. And yeah, go to Pop's Daylight Donuts and get you some. And plus too, you said the people were comfortable, but even if they weren't comfortable, you made them feel comfortable based on with your personality, which can't be understated, and humor. It's the only meeting where people were continuously laughing and cutting up. You would have almost thought that we weren't getting anything done, but we were, because I don't know. It was these meetings were people getting together, having a good time for 30 minutes and actually getting stuff done. So it can be done.
Well, I really like that. I really love that you highlight that. And work is a place where we spend, 80% of our energy. So we got to enjoy it. And that's how I approach those meetings. I wanted to have fun. I think the other piece of this is you're really doing all of the work outside of the meeting, right? So those 30 minutes or 45 minutes we got together, again, I think about this word, let's give everybody an opportunity to shine, because we were working behind the scenes 3, 4, 5, 6 days before that 30-minute meeting.
Right.
So the purpose of the meeting wasn't to have some ahas, some surprises, and some oh no's. How did that happen? The purpose of the meeting was for us to confirm that we are on track, give everybody an opportunity to interact, ask questions, maybe do some best practice learnings. And I think when everybody has confidence, that a major part of running a successful meeting is in what you're doing. So I think we all went into the meetings knowing that we got an all-star team. Every meeting gave everybody the opportunity to show what they were doing, show that they were on track. I could show that we were on track for the agenda. So you feel good about what you're doing.
And there was no posturing.
No.
There was no people trying to show each other up or outdo each other. You know what I mean? You've been in meetings where someone's trying to showboat or take over or derail.
No.
Yeah.
But I think that's a very interesting point, actually, because clarity of roles and responsibilities is how you get around that. When everybody knows what part is, then you contribute and cross over into somebody else's lane because they don't know that's not where we need you. Okay. And so I think, again, for my agenda, if it's 5 things, 5 owners, then we're going to let those 5 people talk. If you got something else you want to contribute, you can save that for the end. And like, I come from a military family. So the truth of the matter is, if we got 5 things, we're going to talk about those 5 things. If you need to be extra, let's do that outside the meeting. But
park it in the parking lot.
Right. So like, I think, when you start off with, and actually this is another good point about this, just having some ground rules about how we're going to work together when you start a major project, respecting your team members, giving everybody a voice. And I'm an ISTJ on the Myers-Briggs. Okay, starting with the I, introvert. So I'm not the person who's getting ready to jump and speak first all the time.
Yeah.
But I think when you give all different kinds of personalities, all different kinds of work styles, the opportunity to shine, opportunity to speak, shine and showcase what they can do, you squash a lot of the nonsense that can happen in meetings.
Yeah. Well, Shanita, I really appreciate your insight into how to have a good meeting. You don't hear enough about that. You always see the articles on what's wrong with meetings and all that stuff. So yeah, if you're listening, watching, Shanita, if someone wants to reach out to you and get more information about what you and I just talked about, how would they do that?
Yes, thank you. Shanita Woodard. Again, thank you for inviting me. I'm the founder and owner of Piccdesign. You can reach me at Shanita at Piccdesign, which is spelled PICCDESIN.com. Thank you again.
All right. Well, for Shanita Woodard, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for watching and listening to the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Deetso Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.